to show you guys is contouring. Contouring is something that you do to your face to show dimension. Is to make sure your cheekbones stand out. A lot of women who have rounder faces, circled faces is what they call them, they definitely benefit from contouring. Contouring is not a requirement. Contouring is not something you have to do. However, it does add dimension to your face. I do not recommend that you contour every day. However, if that is your preference, do what makes you happy. Definitely do that. But for me, I do not contour my face every day. Now, there's two different ways to contour, and I'm going to show you both ways. I'm going to show you both methods. If I decided to contour on an everyday basis, I would either use my MAC Blunt, or I would use a really dark eyeshadow. I'm just going to use this one. I don't have the name for it. When I get it, I'll definitely let you know. Now, contouring has a lot to do with the brush that you decide to use, and or just how you plan on doing it. If you want a strong contour, you would use something smaller. So, what I'm going to use is my e.l.f. angled foundation brush. I like it because it's very narrow. You can see how narrow it is. So I really like it because it really gets right in there. So it's the first way I'm going to show you. This is if you're, in my opinion, this is if you're trying to kill them. If you're trying to hurt their feelings, you do this. Blow off the excess or tap it. And you see this line? This, for me, it's natural. I see it, so I don't really have to do the. However, if you need to do that, do that. Do the fish look. You just want to go right on that. It's like a sharp line. Then what I do is I go right up to my temple, and I go like around the circle, around the cheekbone. It makes like a U. You see that? Makes like a U. Now, the most important part of this is please blend. Don't think you can do that and walk outside. That's not cute. That's not cute. That's Grace Jones like a mug. So what you want to do is you want to do something like that. You want to see that V, a U or V. You want to get a really good brush. And what I use actually for something like this, I would use my small contour brush just because it's so strong. I want to make sure I really get in there and blend that out. Want that to stand out, but you want to still be able to definitely see that. Now that's something that you can do if you really want to 100% define your crease. If you really want to really contour and have a strong contour on your face without looking too crazy, that's what you would do. You would just use a fine line, a fine brush, really get in there and make that line. Now, if you don't want a fine line and you really just want to do a simple light contour, nothing strong, you would use obviously a much bigger brush and a lighter pigment. Remember, to contour you want to use a color that's 1 or 2 colors darker than your natural tone, and or you can use one that's very close to your complexion. When I say that, I mean it's not way off, but it still does the job. To do that, you want to use a big fluffy brush. Not a big fluffy brush, but you want to use something with a tip. You want to use something thicker. You can use smaller brushes. You can use angled brushes, which are really good for this. Where's the other one? Yeah. This is my Sonia Kutcher contour brush. It's definitely angled. This is a really good one, but I prefer this. Either one of these gets the job done. Either one. So what I do, take it, and what I do is I go right on the tip. Right on the tip. You can still either make the fish face or not. And if you don't want the fish face, you just want to go right on top of your crease. Now remember, this is not the same thing, but you just want to go right on top of your crease. You guys see that? This one is definitely more straight to the point. Definitely has a stronger line, a stronger contour. This is one that usually is performed for photo shoots, something that, you know, won't necessarily be focused on, but something that will get the point across, like that's, you see that in the picture. But if you want something nice and soft that's not that noticeable, you would use a flatter, a thicker brush as well as a lighter tone. The more and more you put it in that particular section, you'll see it. You want to do that same V, that same U, and go down. So this is more straight to the point on a thinner contour, like you're literally structuring the face. And this one is when you're just going along with the face and you're just doing something very natural. Okay? Okay, so those are two ways that I contour. You can also, of course, contour your nose. We all know that. You contour your nose, your cheekbones, as well as your jawbone to really make your jawbone striker. Like, I usually do that when, if you notice, I have like this neck here. When I contour, you don't focus here. You focus directly on this line. So, to do my nose, so to contour my nose, what I usually use is my e.l.f. contour brush. You want to find a brush that has a pointy tip, but it's still kind of fluffy, but stiff, if that makes sense. Fluffy, but stiff. You can take that same dark color that you use. Remember that I'm doing a rendition of the exact contour or impactful contour. You want to start at the eyebrow and bring it all the way down. Why do you do this, Shonda? Well, you do this because you want to elongate the nose. You want your face to kind of be elongated, and you want tension to go right there. So you want to make your nose, especially a lot of women do this if you have what you consider fuller noses. So you really want to make this narrow. And do you see that? Now, I don't always do this, and if you want to, you can still do that same contour on the soft side with just the softer color. Go into that same blunt color that you used on your cheek. Put it on kind of heavy so you guys can see that. So you see how this obviously is much darker. I use a darker tone, but when I go to blend this out, you're gonna that pops faster. This is definitely a much softer one, and when it blends, not that you won't see it, but it won't be such a strong look. It'll be much softer, just like that, which that one is clear right in your face. Okay, so what I do is I do go back to my angled contour brush. My angled contour brush. I love this brush, just in case you haven't noticed, from e.l.f. Love it, love it, love it. I use it for my concealer. I use it for multiple things. Love this brush. Get this brush. So what I do, when it comes to blending it out, you want to go into the eye. Sorry, you want to go into the eye. You don't want to go away. We trying to take the darkness away from the center of the nose. What am I doing? Blending away. You definitely don't want to take the line completely away, but you want any harsh lines definitely to be erased. Now, the darker this section is, the more this section shines. The darker this sections are, the more that shines, especially with highlighter. You see how you still can see it, but it's not so harsh. The most important thing about contouring is blending, people. Please blend, blend, blend. This one is much easier to do because it wasn't harsh to begin with. So it's much easier to do. Okay, now I don't know if you can still see this, but it's still, you can clearly see the lines there, and I use two different colors. So this is my Grace Jones side, and this is my who's sweet. This is my side. Okay, so you remember, I didn't do my jawbone, but you can do the same way. You can get the same brush that we did this with, and you can do the same exact thing to your jawbone. You get your brush. Make sure you blend that out. You can see that clear line of definition. Now if you want to do it on my side, you'll get the fluffy brush. You would dump it in here, and you wouldn't necessarily be trying to make no particular lines. You would just put it down there just to give you a soft contour. You definitely would see it. It definitely doesn't stick out like a sore thumb though. I don't know if you can see that, but I can definitely see that. And that's contouring, honestly. There's nothing rocket science about it. It's a great technique to get certain parts of your face to pop, specifically your nose, your jawbone, your temple area. Remember, if this is shining bright, you need this to be on not on a dark side, but you need your temples to be a little dark so you can actually highlight your forehead, and it goes from your forehead to your nose down. T-zone. Okay, so next thing is blush. And how long? God, it's gonna be a long video. Blush is very easy. Blush is very easy. You want to use open your mouth, find your jawbone, go on top, right underneath your socket. That is your jaw. I'm sorry, that is your cheekbone right there, and that is what you want. That's where your foundation should, that is where your blush should go. So, just for today's purposes, I am going to use a bright blush. And I'm going to actually use my new NARS one. Oh, love it. It's so pigmented though, so it's going to be strong. Dab that. Look at it. And you want to go right on top of where you've contoured. Right on top. Just like that. Okay, that's where your blush goes. And I'm hurrying up a little bit. And as far as your bronzer or highlighting is definitely completely optional. You do not have to highlight. However, if you do, you want to use a right brush. Again, this is a great blush to do that. And what I'm going to use actually is my Wet n Wild Mega Glow. I just love this stuff. And you want to just dab, dab, dab. Put it on there. I go from my forehead down obviously down the nose. You want what you contoured to highlight. I'll go in the middle and I'll go here. Right down. Now you don't have to use this brush. You can use any brush, but this is a good powder brush, and this is one that I definitely use. You can use a bronzer brush that they have. You can use any type of brush that you like. I also take it right here as my highlight, and I go right on top of the blush. I find where I put the blush at, and I go right on top of it. So guys, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm not going to do my whole face because that's not the purpose of this video. But that is how I do my foundation. That is how I do my contouring. That's how I do my blush. And that is how I do my highlight and or bronzing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you need anything else, please let me know. Guys, find the closest mirror to you and find and embrace the beautiful dreamer in you and in everything you do. I love you to death. Bye.